Can you imagine waking up one morning and deciding to choose chaos? That's what Windows did when they updated to Windows 11. I feel like they walked into the boardroom and one person was like, guys, I have this great idea. And everybody kind of looks at him and just pauses for a minute waiting for it. And he goes, listen, let's move our start menu to the middle of the screen. And everybody looks at him and goes, oh, that's genius. And every user out there that when they got Windows 11 went, what on earth? Where is the start button? And why is there a widget in its place that shows me ads? How frustrating is that? I mean, Windows has always, from the beginning, put their start menu in the bottom left. Except there was that weird one that we don't talk about Windows 8. No. There's a full link to that song in the description of below. Just saying. It's a fun one. But hey, we're going to transition over. We're going to hop to the computer and I'm going to show you a few things you can do to fix Windows 11. There's going to be 10 things. Let's hop over and I'll show you them. So as we jump in, I do want to remind you guys that we are consultants. So if you ever have any questions or get stuck with any sort of tech issues, feel free to reach out to us at support@nexttechconsultants.com. You can also find us on all the social media platforms, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, here. And our handle or tag at all of them is at NextTechNT. I look forward to seeing you guys there. So let's do this. We're going to hop over to the computer and we're going to go through 10 things to fix Windows 11. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn off widgets. Now let me show you how to do that. All right, so like I said, we're going to go down here. We're going to right click on the taskbar and we're going to pull up taskbar settings. And so the first thing we're going to do is turn off widgets. So if you notice down here at the bottom left, it takes out this very interesting thing that brings up a bunch of information and ads. So we're going to turn it off. For the second thing we're going to do is they have this task view that looks like this. I mean, you can decide whether you like it or not. I don't really like it. I feel like they're trying to do a lot of what a Mac is doing and kind of move that route, but I don't tend to like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off task view. The third thing we're going to do, as you might have guessed, is we're going to turn off chat. This chat bar, I just find annoying. If I'm going to chat with people, I'm just going to open up Teams right here, or I'm going to open up the app I want to use, or I'm going to download something like Trillium or something different that gives me a bunch of chat platforms in one. I'm not a fan of it, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. So we're going to click that right here, and you see the chat menu went away. And here's where we fix the chaos, because you know, this thing in the middle, like a Mac, where they're like, hey, we want to be like them. We're actually just going to move that to the left. So in this same taskbar spot, we're going to go to taskbar behaviors, and it's going to say taskbar alignment and go to left. And that's going to bring your start menu back into the spot where you're used to it, which is kind of nice because that was really frustrating to me when I kept going over here when I thought I was going to be clicking on the start menu, and then I had to go to the middle and click it. And then I just moved it to the left because I tried it and didn't like it. And now finally, after we move it to the left, we have our start menu and our taskbar and then all of our icons. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to go back up to the top of our task menu, and there's a spot here where it says search. In this drop down, you have 4 different options. So hide obviously hides the search menu. Search icon only shows only the magnifying glass. And search icon and label shows the icon with the label on it that says search. I like this one the most. And the reason I like this is because then sometimes what they do, if you have the search box, is they actually put a little ad in this little corner here, which just makes me insane. Like a little picture of a computer in a briefcase. I'm like, why are we doing that? So I like the search icon and label. I also, when I search, I just press this little start menu on my keyboard and I just start typing my search and it works great. So I don't really click that much. I just click the little start menu, and whenever you're there, you can just start searching right away. And you can see here, we're gonna go back to personalization. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're actually gonna look at the start menu. Now, this is kind of interesting. You basically have a few options. I'm gonna get to my favorite one in just a second, but more pins would mean you have more options to pin items there. Like if you're like, hey, I want to click on the start menu, I want more apps, that's more pins. Default is what it looks like right here. And then more recommendations shows more of this area down here where they're like, hey, we think you might click on this. So you have the choice of these 3 different options if you didn't know. You can also customize a few other things, but my favorite part in the start menu is this folders. Now, if you didn't know about this, if you click on the start menu, there's a little power button right here, and that's the only thing that shows up. But if you turn on File Explorer and you're in the start menu, now the File Explorer folder's there. Or if it's like, hey, I use documents a lot and I turn on documents, I can just click here and it'll take me straight to my documents folder, just like that. And so these are folders. I didn't really know about them for a while, but I like them. If you use your start menu a lot, it's really helpful. I typically just click on the folder here and then find it, but I've found myself liking these folders to be able to open up direct locations like documents or pictures or videos. So I like to have it on like this. But that's the start menu. That was item number 6 that we can do. Finally, now we're gonna go to item number 7. It's gonna bring us back to personalizations, and we're gonna talk about the lock screen. But before we talk about the lock screen, it's really important that you understand the use of the lock screen. Now, when I worked at another place, if I walked away from my computer and I didn't lock it, somebody would come and make calendar invitations or set up appointments on my calendar, which is kind of the same, but they'd set up appointments on my calendar, or they would change the background of my desktop. We were in a Christian school, so it wasn't really inappropriate things, but it was just kind of annoying. It would come back and you'd see Bart Simpson writing on the board, I will lock my screen, I will lock my screen. And you're like, oh, what else did they do? Because that was the first giveaway that somebody messed with your computer. So just remember to lock your screen. This is really important, especially if you're in a shared workspace. If you're at your house, it helps because then your kids can't come up and just start typing or deleting applications or files. So I would really recommend locking your computer as you walk away. And if you didn't know, this is really cool. You can press the Windows button on your keyboard, hold it, and then tap the L, and it will lock your screen. So on the lock screen, you have a few different options. You can have Windows Spotlight or Pictures, and you can choose your picture and where you want to go with it. So you can decide the picture that's playing. I like the Spotlight because it changes every once in a while for me. You can also choose whether you want to show calendar, weather, or mail. I'm not a big fan of mail because then your mail's showing every time you look at your computer. I like the calendar because it tells me the date and time if I ever forget it, because sometimes I forget what day it is. Finally, screen timeout. Like if you walk away, how quickly should your screen turn off, or should it lock when you go back on? So those are kind of quick little things that we're going to go over, mainly changing the picture, choosing the email, date, time. And you can also decide when you sign in if you want to show that picture or go to like a different screen. So what'll happen if you say on is this picture here will actually be what's there when you're signing in. If you choose off, it'll change to like a black screen or something else when you're signing in. Might help you know where you're typing a little bit better, but yeah, that's an option there as well. All right, number 8 is customize your theme. So for this, we're gonna go back to personalization. Themes is really like accent colors or desktop background or how you want things to look and sounds. And so what we do is you can go in here and say, hey, I'm gonna choose my color, and it's an accent color. It's not the main color, but we can say, hey, I want this to be the blue, and it changes right here, the accent color. It also changed the color of my microphone if you didn't notice it. So if I change it to red, my microphone turned red. This is now red. But this is the accent colors. It's nice to pick an accent color that complements the background image. It just makes it a little bit nicer. And then in your themes also, you can choose your background. Do you want a picture? You could do a slideshow. What was really cool is we did a slideshow for a restaurant, and they put a bunch of pictures in a folder, and it just circles through those pictures, so they don't have to go to this computer that's connected to the projector. They just have to add pictures to that folder, and their slideshow's constantly updated without ever touching that computer. So that's another option here. The other part, if you didn't notice when we go into themes and we click on color, is you have the option between light and dark mode. So if you're not familiar with dark mode, I normally use dark mode for everything because it's just easier on the eyes. But that's how you change from light to dark. All right, so now that we're on dark mode, kind of the way I like it, we're gonna keep this blue theme because I kind of like that blue with the black. We're gonna open up our folder. And what we're going to go over for step number 9 and how to kind of make things a little bit better is we're going to choose the way things look in here. So this is your quick access. This is kind of the way it is. But if we go into pictures, you'll notice that if you click on view here, you have a lot of different options. So right now it's large icons. You can click extra large. And if you scroll down, you'll see, hey, there's all the pictures. They're easier to see, which is kind of nice. The other view normally for pictures, because I like to see more of them at a time, is the large icons. I don't really like the small one, but In most places, I like to choose, like in downloads, I like it to be details. And so if you change something in a folder, it remembers which kind of root folder that's in, and it keeps that view there for you. All right, you can see here in your views, you have a different outpost. Like I said, I like details the most. We do have small icons, list, which is just this details, but without the details, it just has kind of a list of the files next to it. Tiles with a description next to it, or content with a description next to it. So these are the different options you can do. Also in Windows 11, they changed view hidden items right here. So if you're ever looking at a support article and they tell you to go say, oh, find this hidden item, this is how you show your hidden items. You go to view, you go to show, and you say hidden items. If you don't know what you're doing, I don't recommend doing that. But if you're walking through a good tutorial, or if you feel comfortable doing it, go ahead and show those. But yeah, so that's what I would say. So those were the 9 things. The number 10 is really something that I just personally, I like, because if you look at my desktop now, you can see all of these icons, all the stuff I've downloaded just shows up here. I don't really like moving these around or clicking on them. I never use them. So if you just right click and go to view, you can say show desktop items. So hide your desktop items and it just gives you a cleaner look. All right, so those were the 10 things that I wanted to go over to kind of take the craziness out of Windows 11 and make it more like Windows 10, what you're used to. So if you've been stuck in that question of like, should I upgrade to Windows 11? I think at this point, it's a good time to upgrade. They've gotten quite a few bugs out. Personally, I don't mind Windows 11. I know some people don't like it, but I don't mind it. I actually think it's pretty good. But those are the 10 things. We went over: turn off widgets, turn off the task view, turn off chat, move the navigation bar to the left. And then after that, we customize our search box. We customize the start menu, customize the lock screen, customize your theme. And then finally, we just hid all of the icons on your desktop to make it look cleaner. If you do like this video, you're still here, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel so we can create more content like this to help support your business and your employees move forward and succeed in what they need to do. So I appreciate you sticking around. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.